Welcome back, folks, to World of Warships Legends. I'm Soopa-Dave, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Foundry. Now, I want to be very clear when I start this video. I do like this ship. In fact, I do like it a lot, but I am a little sour because every match I've been in today, but one, has had a Chekhov in it, and right now they are completely broken and overpowered. And you guys are going to see the match without it, okay? Because you hopefully won't have to deal with a Chekhov as broken as it is in the future. But I can assure you, every match but one, I've had a Chekhov, and they have either recognized me or just decided they don't like this ship, okay? And it's rough, especially the Chekhovs in the divisions, man. Them are the definitely the decent players, and everybody's playing it right now. So, with that being said, hopefully you won't have to worry about that eventually when they definitely fix that ship. I think it's well known that it is definitely overpowered. With that being said, let's get into the video. We're using Michael Latier for this. I actually, having played this now, would actually use, if you have it, I would use Dunkirk. Why is that? You could build into secondaries, do Hipper here and like Haruna. The reason I would use Dunkirk as a commander is you could still do Porcupine, get these secondaries with like Hipper and that and the inspirations, but you're also going to get marksmanship, help out the main guns. These main guns are pretty good, and I think with the combination with Dunkirk, with secondaries and being able to have some decent accuracy, this would be an adjustment I would do personally and would very much enjoy. Now, that being said, I do like the ship. For your modifications, secondary main battery mod 2, concealment and propulsion here in the second and third slots, and the secondary battery mod 3 to help with the secondary battery time. Um, we do have 5 heals on this build. You have 3 normally. They're okay. They're nothing to sneeze home about. You do have 2 main battery reload boosters, which is handy, and 3 uh, enhanced secondary targeting. Now, you could build this as just like a John Bart in some ways and take the speed boost and don't build in the secondaries. I necessarily wouldn't do it, but you could. Um, Survivability of 69,000 health, and your main guns are you have 8 15-inch guns. The firing range is only 16.5, and the reload is 27 seconds. And the AP damage and the HE damage isn't wonderful, but these main guns are not as bad as they look on paper. Okay, these are pretty solid guns, I feel, in this ship. If you can last and not get murdered by a Chekhov. AA defense, it's 100%. But I can tell you right now, if you're playing this while a Chekhov is still broken, good luck. Okay? You're going to see I've had a carrier in every match. Okay? The one match you're going to see, it's a carrier, but it's not a Chekhov. And it can shoot down other planes pretty well, but it can't shoot down Chekhovs. Everything gets off before they even get in range right now. So just keep that in mind. This AA is very good, but not, like I said, right now, if you get up against a Chekhov, this thing is rough. Also, maneuverability is solid all around. Concealment 13.3. It's a battleship. You're not gonna sneak up on a dead moose in open water. And statistics. This is rough, man. You guys can see I've only survived one battle, even though I've done really well on taking damage from the rest of the other team. I can't stop the carrier. I just can't. The Chekhov, I cannot stop today. And it is super frustrating. If you guys have been paying attention to videos recently, that Chekhov has almost made the game unplayable for a lot of people, and the combination of that and having some really poor teammates lately has soured me. And I try not to be that way, but I want to be very clear so I don't sound disappointed in this ship. I don't think it's a bad ship. Even with getting focused we're doing respectable. We're taking 1.5 million potential damage. It is a very tanky ship with the heals, and the our damage is a little below average, but again, I'm dying to Chekhovs very early. Well, not very early, but earlier than would be welcomed, I guess. That being said, 8 battles played. You can see the main gun accuracy, even without Dunkirk, is pretty good, and that's why I say Dunkirk would help that. But you can see we've had a rough go on this ship. These stats do not represent this ship in any way, trust me. Armor. Oh, also, you can see here with I'm averaging, where was it? Averaging 3 aircrafts destroyed. That Chekhov thing is absolutely nuts, man. You could just drop torpedo, or you could drop them HE skip bombs and not even get in range of torpedoes. It's absolutely bonkers. But armor, okay, and this is kind of a little bit of a downside. If you take off the torpedo protection, yes, it has a nice belt, right? Okay, but what I do want to say is because it's 32 millimeters everywhere, which is good for your bow and stern because you won't get overmatched unless you run across the Musashi. Uh, Again, like a lot of the French battleships like this, Champagne, you're gonna be susceptible to HE spam. Everything seems to pin this. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. If you know that, you're okay. But against AP, these things are pretty strong. And you can see here, we will take off everything here. You can see, again, just like the Gascon, it kind of has a similar citadel setup. The Gascon, the Champagne, where it has a turtleback. It's not a full turtleback where the citadel is angled as well, but it does help you close in, and this ship is, like I said, very tanky against AP. Not to mention that you have a very small citadel. It is slightly above the water, but this thing is not something you got to be worried about the citadel with. You can get away with quite a bit in this ship. And especially if you angle well, this thing is really hard to take out. Now, one thing I want to mention, because I wanted to wait till we got to this page. These secondaries, right? You have 10-5 on your secondaries when you have them maxed out. These little ones, the 100 mils reload every 2 seconds, they're very good. Okay? The issue is the 152s that you have 9 of. And that sounds really, really good. And don't get me wrong, they are, when they shoot, good. The problem is you can see where they are. They're them 3 on the middle of the back there. Them 3 big ones. That top one, right behind the superstructure, almost never fires. And while these secondaries definitely aren't bad, you have to be careful because this is a tanky ship, but like any ship, if you go broadside just to get these back secondaries going, it can be rough. And being that your main guns are all on the front, a lot of times these big 152s really aren't doing a whole lot. That middle one, I think I've only had it start going off one time, and it was while I was kiting away. And the other 2, once in a while, will start going off. It's not nearly as often as you'd like, though. That's one thing I noticed very quickly in this ship. As we start the match, it's disclaimer time. This is a beginner's video meant to help people new to the ship or new to the game. This is not meant for professional gamers that know everything there is to know about everything in the universe. There are multiple ways to play and build this ship. And I am an above average player, not the world's best. I make mistakes. You may see one in this match. You didn't come here for pronunciations. I'm as good as anybody at slaughtering beautiful languages all the time. With that out of the way, we are on Greece, and we know there's a Georgia next to us, so we're assuming he's going to go out on the flank. It's Georgia, good speed, good capabilities to flank, so we're going to take the We're going to go ahead and just go straight forward a little bit. We're not leaving our flank. We're still on our flank. But we're going to be able to help the middle and the seaside if at all possible. Now, hopefully I haven't sounded a little sour today. I'm trying not to. I try not to let bad stuff like the Chekhov or bad teammates get to me. I try to be, where I don't really let that get through too much, but it was rough today, I will assure you. There has been a few times in the last couple of days where I thought actually about taking a break just because of how crazy right now the luck I've had with like teammates and stuff. That being said, Zeton gets spotted. We're trying to get ourselves tucked up to this island. That way we can't get absolutely murdered by torpedoes, and also it's going to keep ships from getting crossfire on us. We do get a decent chunk off of the Zeton. Not terrible, not amazing, but decent, right? And we're going to go ahead and park up against this island. Now, I'm going to make a mistake here. I actually think I'm going to get hooked by these islands. I'm trying to get my secondaries out just a little bit. You can see I switched to HE. He's angled versus me. We don't get a fire, though. But I'm trying to stop right here on the corner of the island, and I'm trying to do it with my ship just slightly turned a little bit. Like, this is right where I wanted it up right here. My secondaries could go off. Now we go a little bit too far, and thank gosh I have propulsion mod, which is really handy on secondary build ships, because otherwise I might have been dead here if I hadn't had it. And you're going to see here, we're going to lose a little bit of our health gain, a little too tricky, and that's one thing you got to do with all secondary ships. You can't just rush in too far. That extra half a ship like that we went too far, that took a lot of health out of us that wouldn't have came off, right? It just wouldn't have. Like, we wouldn't have been in that bad of a spot. Obviously, we know a destroyer's in front of us. We're trying to get help on spotting. Listen, guys, if you are in a destroyer, right? No, the destroyers aren't over here. They're both on the A side, which is not a good thing. You don't want both your destroyers generally in a place. But if you see a secondary ship, and it looks like he's not a idiot, if you see a secondary ship on your team, go spot that other destroyer, because right here you're going to see there's two secondary ships here. It's me and the Brandenburg. Now, this Brandenburg is going to make some interesting life choices, but if you get the opportunity, this isn't in this game here, the destroyer's on our side of the map, but if there's a destroyer, you'd want to spot it to get rid of it right away. Secondaries are a absolutely great way to get rid of a ship. Now, you can see, while we're not getting focused, there's planes around us, so we're going to be shooting some of them down. So, interesting thing about this match here, guys, I end up with 2.7 million potential damage in Zara's broadside, so my eyes light up. We're going to go ahead and do the island trick like I wanted to do the first time. And we're going to go ahead and pop out. But you see the island saving us from torpedoes and crossfire. And we're going to whack the Zara pretty good here. And then we're going to back up a little bit because we see the battleship is backing up. We don't want to be in a bad spot with crossfires, and we know we got a destroyer out in front of us and possibly the York. So we're going to go ahead and back up. Interesting thing about this ship, or this match, is a 2.7 million potential damage against us, meaning we soaked in a ton of damage from the enemy team. Also, we are not gonna capture a base in this match, which is kind of a rare thing even for me in a battleship. A lot of times I wouldn't say that. There's a lot of times where I do actually capture a base. We're gonna back off, let us heal. We know the destroyer's out in front of us. We back up, use the island. And this destroyer is probably pretty mad because the whole time he has had me sitting right here, he has only gotten one torpedo hit on me, and it was on the belt, so it didn't really do a whole lot. And the other thing about not getting a capture and all this potential damage against us, we're gonna have a decent game, and it's not gonna be 500,000 damage game. And you can do that without, you can have good games without worrying about a ton of damage, guys. Now, we go ahead and we've gotten rid of Zeton. Now, That's a big thing because he was in the middle of the map causing a ruckus. Now we see Nagato and a destroyer over there. And what we're going to do is we are starting to win our side, obviously. So my idea is let's go ahead and push into the cap. And I don't want to necessarily fire at Nagato yet. We're going to wait till he makes a turn. And he can't get our guns on us because we are broadside. Don't shoot somebody if you don't want to get shot back. So we're going to go ahead and take a shot at Nagato and try to finish him off. We know where the destroyer is, but I kind of want to sneak up on him. That's my thought process. Lo and behold, he's going to have the same thought. But you can see with our heals, we're starting to get some health back. And we know there's a destroyer in front of us, and I want to sneak up to him the best I can. Now, our cruiser, you'll notice, is doing a very good job. He is sneaking up to where this destroyer is sitting. Now, I'm just making sure there's nothing going to pop out over here in front of me. We get spotted, and you can see his secondary start going off. We're going to turn our guns to try to get rid of Akatsuki and try to get behind this island so we don't absolutely get wrecked by torps. You can see our secondaries have done a little bit so far. There's some more chunking off. And we are going to go ahead and use our main guns as well. And you can see we essentially have gotten rid of that destroyer. Now, kudos to that cruiser for spotting him. And we're going to go ahead and push in and try to get crossfires on the Brandenburg. And also, we're trying to protect this base. So, you can see here in a second that there it is right there. Enemies capturing B. That tells me one thing. That destroyer is here, right? We know where every other ship is going to be, pretty much. So either that destroyer is going to be right in front of me in my secondaries here in a second, or he's going to be around the island to the left, right? There's only two places he can be that I can't see him right now. We pop out, we're not spotted, and we're still locating, meaning he is definitely on the other side of this island. So, which is good for me because now I have a broadside of the Brandenburg here in a second. Now, we haven't done a ton of damage, but the damage we have done, we've done a lot to, we did a lot to that cruiser and the destroyer, right? So, what damage you do is definitely helpful. Now, I'm spotted by the Brandenburg. We're going to take a shot here. And I actually thought this destroyer was going to play on the other side of the map. I didn't think he was going to charge me right away. And you're going to see here, we take a good chunk off. We use a reload booster here. I probably would have held on to this and knowing what was going to happen next. I didn't really expect it until I see the destroyer get spotted. And in a second here, you're going to see I definitely am keeping an eye on the map right now. I don't want to eat all these torps. I'm trying to aim to see where he is on the map. I try to use the app map to see where he is. And I know that he's charging me, right? So we're going to go in full reverse mode. You can tell we have been the focus of the enemy team and still done a good job of staying pretty healthy. We made that mistake early on. We know he's coming. There's a destroyer. We know he's coming, right? I don't know why destroyer players do this, man. I get it. If you're a good destroyer player, maybe you could pull this off, but you still lose all your health for no reason, right? And we're going to go ahead and take a huge chunk off of him. We obviously know he's going to go sideways to set off his torpedoes. He does it way too early. You want to get the broadside of a battleship, not the front. And now he's dead. That's just it. So we've helped completely get rid of both the destroyers in this match. And now Brandenburg's left. Now, why do I not shoot my guns here, guys? Right? I see a lot of people make this mistake. Now, I could go forward, try to get my secondaries in the smoke, and play that. But right now, if I get found, or he takes a shot, or I get too close to the secondary start, I have a minute on a heal and a damage con. There's no reason for me to shoot here, okay? Even though we're probably going to win, I got to make sure I'm in a position where I'm not going to die when I take this shot. Now, didn't realize he was going to charge up. Otherwise, I would have sat in that smoke, let my secondaries go. I actually thought he was going to run away, so kudos to this guy for not running away. And we're going to go ahead, he's got his guns the other side. You can see I'm looking at that. We go ahead and take a shot because by the time he gets his guns turned around, he's not going to be able to do anything. In his secondaries, even though they could start a fire, now we only have 15 seconds left. They would never kill me. And we're going to go ahead and use our secondaries. But you can see here, I'm staying angled so that even if he doesn't, in fact, get turned around to shoot me, he is. But you can see none of our 152s were going off there, our big ones, which is fine. It's not the end of the world, but just keep in mind, them 152s are kind of counterproductive to this ship in a little bit with your main batteries on the front. We are going to use our last heal. And you can see, I haven't captured a base, but I did protect the B cap, right? I made it so that battle or that destroyer couldn't get him, and we're gonna push up because I think even though the carrier was last spotted to the right, I think he's out in front of me. You can see where his planes are coming, and we're just gonna head that way. I wasn't sure where the carrier was. I thought he could actually be behind these islands in front of me, like directly off to my left, but was not 100% sure, like I said. We're going to go ahead, and the last thing we can do is just go ahead and try to get to him and do our best. So we had ourselves a decent game, even though we might not have the most damage. We've done a lot of things to help our team win in this match. And you can see this match is basically over at this point. We have shot down some of his planes, obviously. Not the world's most, but, you know, he has been around us in our plane. You know, you could build into the AA if you wanted on this ship, but right here, we're going to we're going to detect him, and we're going to absolutely take a shot at him. I wish we had another 30 seconds. This would have been a solid hit. As we get our Confederate to end the match, we would have definitely killed that Saipan, though, if we had gotten probably another shot off with our secondaries. We get a Dreadnought Confederate, really helping our team win. Top of the leaderboard with a solid game in a secondary ship. Obviously, you get less XP in secondary ships, so we had ourselves a pretty solid game. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time, folks. Have a good one.